On today's show,
No, I don't really have a ton of superstitions, but I do have one. I make sure I touch my towel and then I look up at the score box. It's just a weird thing, but I do it every time before games. If I need to reset myself as well throughout the game, something going wrong, I do that too.
Superstitions, everyone has them. I do that before every show. Not exactly, but everyone has a superstition. We're going to ask two student athletes here in just a bit about their superstitions on game days. That and a whole lot more on today's show for Kansas Sports Chatter, a statewide high school sports entertainment show streaming on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. My name is Cole Reif, and you look at the guests today. It'll be Brett LaDuke and Ty Scheck, those two student athletes. LaDuke from Blue Valley West, Ty Scheck from Dodge City. Superstitions, we're going to get their thoughts on those for game days. Drew Gruver, heck of a season for Bonner Springs boys basketball this year. Head coach Drew Gruver will be on. Also, Mac Moore, the creator of Lawrence Sports, covering not only Lawrence, but almost everything in Douglas County for high school athletics. Mac Moore will be on. Brandi Fowler. Hey, Drew Gruver used to coach at Liberal High School. Brandi Fowler now, the head coach for a number of years. She's going to be joining us. Been a great year for Lady Red. Anna McIntire with Hesston College women's basketball and originally from Lawrence Free State High School will be our next level talents. And we'll close things out with Rocky Downing, the voice of the Clay Center Tigers, with a radio highlights. All right, let's get to those superstitions. Here is our leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Brett LaDuke with Blue Valley West High School. Brett, the question, do you have any superstitions on game day?
You know, I don't really have a ton of superstitions, but I do have one. I make sure I touch my towel and then I look up at the score box. It's just a weird thing, but I do it every time before games. If I need to reset myself as well throughout the game, something going wrong, I do that too.
So you'll do it multiple times throughout the game, possibly?
Yeah, I will for sure.
Okay, so when did that superstition start for you?
Oh, it probably started when I used to live in Texas. I would always touch my towel and look up at a state championship up there on the score box, like a number up there. And that always helped me just reset myself. I don't know. It's just a certain thing I decided to do.
Have you always been a quarterback that uses a towel?
Yes, I always have, for sure.
Anything else that you do throughout the game that you just kind of a consistent thing throughout your career?
I mean, not super consistently. I mean, I've just been all kinds of different, I guess. I've just done a bunch of different stuff.
Does anybody else know about your towel superstition, though?
Probably my quarterback trainer, but I don't even think my parents know. No.
So do you have backup towels just in case something happens to the first towel, so that way you stay in rhythm?
I do. I have 2 backup towels. I always put in a bag and I bring it on the sideline.
Very good. All right. I mean, I see the Rodgers and the Allen jerseys behind you. You big fans?
Yep. Yeah, I am for sure. Aaron Rodgers, I'm a big Packers fan, so definitely my number one quarterback all the time. And Josh Allen up there too, big fan. Kind of same play style sort of to me, I would feel like. So it's more my favorite.
Do you model your game after either one of those?
I would say definitely I model it more after Josh Allen. I think definitely we're same stature. I try to be that same sort of thing. I want to be more mobile and try to be able to do both, be in between.
That is Brett LaDuke with Blue Valley West High School with today's leadoff question. It's today's leadoff question with Ty Scheck, a student athlete with Dodge City High School. Ty, the question today, do you have any superstitions on game day?
To be honest, I wouldn't say for sure. I do play 3 sports, so football, basketball, and baseball. I would say I'll go football first. I mean, nothing really there. Love to listen to music before the game, good eats before the game the night before. Mm-hmm. But other than that, nothing really. I mean, just get some good music. And then basketball, I always have a Snickers. So I don't know if I need to switch that into my other sports, but I always have a Snickers before a basketball game. I tried that out once and I had a really good game. So I've decided to always do that. And then baseball, just making sure my swing's good before all the games.
Okay, so the Snickers, like how big are we talking? Like the fun size Snickers, or are we talking like the full size? What type?
Actually, anything. Like at the beginning of the season, I had a king size, so I ate it before the game, and then at halftime, and then sometimes I'll just get a normal one. So I try to eat it before and at halftime to give me a little fuel at halftime.
Do you remember when you started doing that? When was the first game you started that ritual?
I think it was this year, to be honest. My first game of the season, my mom was like, "Here, do you want a Snickers?" I was like, "Sure." So I ate it. I ate it before the game. I scored 39 points. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to start doing that more often.
Smart. Good move there. Going back to the football tradition or the superstition, as far as just listening to music, I think a lot of players will do that. But any specific songs or type of music that you want to listen to before games?
So like walk through or on the bus ride leading up to, I actually like to listen to like calm and soft music, get my mind right. Fernando Mendoza actually kind of got popular off of saying like keeping your mind at a calm state right before you play. So, trying to keep my mind right and calm, and then, got to get the guys hyped up a little bit. So we get a little bit of pump up right before we walk out. But I would say, yeah, a little bit of both.
So the calm music, is this just like elevator music, like, or there's an actual artist?
I don't really know the artist.
Okay.
I kind of just have like a little playlist. I actually got it from Jared McCain, a successful basketball player. So he kind of showed me the ways a little bit.
That is Ty Scheck, a member of Dodge City High School Athletic Department. Thanks again to Brett LaDuke of Blue Valley West and also Ty Scheck out at Dodge City High School, both of which made commitments here in the new year for their football programs in college. Best of luck in the future and also the rest of their high school careers. Thanks to our sponsors, Wheatland Electric, serving 14 of Kansas counties, owned by the people that they serve. Also, Barton Community College, always enrolling, flexible classes, affordable tuition, and programs built for your future. Eastus Media. Follow Eastus Media on YouTube and Facebook to stay connected to everything Pratt. Myers Enterprises. Bring your business into the 21st century with Myers Enterprises. And SPX LED video walls. Whether you're sharing a sermon, broadcasting a game, or hosting a school assembly, spice things up with a video wall from SPX. We'll take a break, come back, and talk with Bonner Springs boys basketball coach Drew Gruver. That is next here on the show. Here's a hard truth. If your business isn't using AI in its marketing, you've already fallen behind. But there's an advertising agency in Kansas that can get you back up to speed. That agency's name is Myers Enterprises Media Research. The name sounds dry because the company's run by engineers, not salespeople. They use superior research and analytics that drive results with surgical precision. Marketing doesn't have to be a gritty battle in the trenches. Your business can win from the box. Visit their website, mediaresearch.agency, to learn more. We bring in our next guest here on Kansas Sports Chatter, and that guest is going to be Drew Gruver, the head coach of the Bonner Springs boys basketball team. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show. For you, obviously, getting to that over the midway points of the high school basketball season, but just compare, your second year now at Bonner Springs to year number one. Like, what is that difference from year one to year two like?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me and letting us talk about our team a little bit. But first year coming in, guys are learning the system and learning what style we want to play with or what I would like for them to play with. And we hit the ground running last year with the guys. They bought into what we were trying to teach them. And then, this year, with a veteran group, we have a lot of seniors on the team, basically the whole team coming back. We only lost a couple guys from last year's team. And, we're just able to kind of flow right into things and carry things over from last season. And, we had good work in the summer as well. So, and then too, you kind of get a feel for, the teams in our conference and the teams we play, having played them, last year. So it's been a smooth transition this year. And a lot of that's because we have a veteran group.
What is that like trying to bring in, a new style and trying to get that implemented within your system with those guys? Like, how tough is that, especially those first few weeks of practice last year?
Yeah, honestly, with this group of guys, got a great group of guys to work with. They really bought into what we were trying to do. Very team-oriented guys. They don't really care who gets the credit. They just want to win basketball games. And, the style of ball we play, we try to play a fast pace, and we try to move the ball and, do it together, though, do it as a team, both on the offensive end and the defensive end. And our guys, last couple of years have really bought into that. And honestly, it's been a fairly easy process. But I think a lot of that is just the type of guys we have and the players we have that are team-oriented guys.
You talk about, getting buy-in from players and, even fan bases, I guess. But, I mean, how much nicer was it for them to see that success? I mean, you guys had a great year in your first season, getting to the state tournaments. But, like, how much easier was it to get buy-in when they're kind of seeing the results, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it helps when you win games and doing the stuff that we do. Again, with this group of guys, it's we've got very skilled players, guys that can, multiple guys that can score, guys that will play hard on the defensive end. And so it was, I don't want to necessarily say it was easy, but it's been a lot easier than when I've been at other places. And again, I credit that to just our guys and having that team attitude and just doing it for each other. And, it's been a fun group to coach, and I'm excited to keep it rolling here and see how we do here in the second half of the season.
Getting a taste of that success last year, and like you mentioned with the number of returners and now the experience you have this season, did you feel like the guys were kind of hungry to get back at it to start out this year?
Oh, absolutely. These guys love playing basketball. This summer they worked hard at in the off season, coming to the weight room, coming to the gym, getting in the gym and working, and we played in some tournaments and things. So they were hungry, had some obviously success last year, got to the state tournament, lost in the first round of state in the quarterfinal game to a really good Andover team. And I think that kind of just made them hungry and this offseason worked hard. And we got multiple guys that play, on travel basketball teams too. So guys were playing lots of basketball this summer, and they were ready to go right from the start.
What did you take from that Andover game that's helped you out? I mean, sometimes it's just, experience and you're just better because, you guys got older guys. But what did you take from that Andover game that kind of fueled you during the offseason?
Yeah, I mean, I think, when you get to the state tournament, everybody at the state tournament is going to be good. And, you're going to have to be on your A game. You're not going to just have easy games at the state tournament. So I think just being in that environment, getting that taste of it, having the feel for it. I think, we were a little nervous. Nerves kind of played a little part in that game a little well. I don't think we played our best game in that Andover game or played up to our potential. But, some of that is, again, Andover was a good basketball team and they made it tough for us. So I think the guys, getting that experience and getting there, they're just hungry to get back to the state tournament and try to make a run, at a state championship, obviously, which is the ultimate goal. So
who stood out for you this year? Has it been a team collective or any individuals that have kind of really popped off the page?
Yeah. Like I said, we got a veteran group. We've got, I guess, kind of 7 seniors. We got a couple guys that are injured and aren't playing right now as far as seniors go. But it's kind of a collective effort. It really is. We've got multiple guys that can score, multiple guys that can do things, and which makes us tough to play against. Our main guys, Kellen Gruver, does a good job for us. Jason Jones, Jaden Jones. We got a transfer in, Nate Farrell from Metro Academy as well. That was nice, a nice addition. And, a couple seniors off the bench. Jackson Nez, the guy that can shoot a little bit. Dion Cruz has been coming in and playing some good minutes for us as well, as far as seniors go. So, and that's what we talk to our guys. If we move the ball on offense and play the right way, play together, if everyone passes to everyone when they're open, we take good shots. We've got multiple guys that can score, 20 any given night. So I'd say it's been a collective effort for us tonight. And then too, I'd just say on the defensive end, our guys have really bought in. And, defense, sometimes you don't think of it as being a team game on the defensive end, but, really good defenses, it's a team effort, and our guys have bought into that defense. And when we get rolling on the defensive end, usually the defense leads to our offense, is kind of what we say. And so it's been a collective effort, I think, as the season's gone on here.
Drew Gruver, head coach of Bonner Springs boys basketball team, joining us here on the show. You talk about defense. Any specific style that you like that's been successful with this year's team?
Well, we're predominantly a man-to-man. We play basically all man-to-man. We haven't had to throw in any zone, but and we got the guys that can defend and get up and we're more guard-oriented, guard-heavy. So, and we're all very similar in size and athletic ability. And so, we can kind of get up, defend, guard, switch things, and play that way. So we like to get after it on the defensive end. And like I said, let that defense lead to our offense.
You talk about those guards, very interchangeable. Like, do you like that style where, there's some teams that, like, some coaches, like, I got to have a true post player, I got to have a big guy down low, or I got to have this really, really good point guard. Like, do you like, the style you guys are at? Obviously, the proof is in the pudding. You guys have been really successful, but at the same time, like, do you like just having maybe a guard-oriented team?
Yeah, that's, in high school, it's kind of what you dealt with, who you have. If we had a post player that, more of a true post player, then, we would probably have a little bit different style of play. But with this group of guys, that's what we have. We're a little more guard oriented. So that's the style we play with. So, and it works for us. We've got not necessarily big guys, but, we got some guys 6'2", 6'3" in that range and athletic. And so we can match up a little bit with some bigger guys with our athleticism and length that way. And so it's been a good style for us, and our guys have, like I said, bought into it. And it's been fun for the guys to play and fun to coach. And I think it's fun for our fans to watch as well.
Just looking at your T-shirt with the Bonner Springs basketball logo there, it reminds me of the colors of Liberal High School. I know you got started out in Liberal as an assistant coach. What did you learn there while you were spending time in Liberal?
Yeah, man, that was a long time ago. I coached under two good coaches out there when I first started. Learned a lot from those guys. Rod Briggs, who came up to the Kansas City area and had a lot of success at Lansing, was the first head coach I had, and great mentor, guy I learned a lot from, and learned the system, I guess, so to speak, with high school basketball and being a coach. And had some great teams out there in Liberal as well. And it did help and prepare me to be a head coach, working under some good head coaches out there my first few years.
You talk about, making that switch, and it's been a while, but, making that switch from assistant to head coach. There's probably some obvious differences, but what is that transition like, just going from, being the assistant and being the main guy?
Well, it's on you. You make the decisions, and you kind of, everything falls back on you. So it's a little bit different when you're sitting over there as assistant. It's easy to give suggestions and, hey, do this, do that. If it works, great. The head coach is happy with you. If it doesn't work, then the head coach is maybe not necessarily mad at you, but it doesn't come back to the assistant coach. So and then just running the program, everything you do, it's on you, but that's that's why we coach. It's fun for me. It's fun to be in that situation, and it's fun to work with players and try to get them to buy into what you're doing. And when you get a group like we've got now that buys into it and carries things over from practice into the games, it's really fun to watch and really fun to be a part of.
Is scheduling any easier now that you're at Bonner Springs compared to when you're at Liberal?
Yeah, I mean, maybe a little bit. Liberal, you had to travel a lot, long distances. We had two teams in our league that were 3 hours away, like one way, 3 hours there. We'd play the game, get on the bus, and drive 3 hours home. So travel is obviously a lot different. It's nice to only be, for the most part, 30 minutes away on road games at most. Scheduling was a little difficult out there in Liberal just because it was a little bit bigger school, a lot of smaller schools out that direction. So we did have to travel a lot for those. So, but here, travel scheduling's a little bit easier.
Is there ever any appeal to put like some of those schools out west, like on your schedule now? Like, I mean, like scheduling Liberal, like, I don't know if it would be like a mid-season tournaments or anything like that, maybe meet halfway. Is there ever any interest? Because I know you got so many Kansas City-based schools on that east side, but ever any interest in doing that?
Yeah, well, it would be a tough sell, here with parents and everyone. We go on an hour road trip, and I don't think that's very long. And everyone here kind of, it's kind of, like, man, that's a long ways away. And I say, man, you don't have any idea. But yeah, sometimes in mid-season tournaments or tournaments, you run into some of those schools a little bit farther out west. That can happen. And I know Liberal, they were supposed to come to the Tonganoxie tournament this year. I think because of the weather and stuff, they didn't come. So yeah, sometimes you do run into those Western Kansas schools, and but if it happens, it'd be great. It'd be fun, for me, to play your old school, those sorts of things. But if it happens. But we're probably not going to schedule Liberal and drive across the state 6 hours, or actually probably more than that. I don't know how far it is, right. 10 hours to go play Liberal.
Probably a wise decision, Coach. Appreciate the time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
You bet. Thanks for having me. And, we're excited to finish up the second half of the season and see where we're at.
It's been fun to watch. That's Drew Gruver, head coach of the Bonner Springs boys basketball team. We'll have more of the show right after this.
Power outages don't wait for a convenient time, and neither should you. Right now is the perfect season to invest in a standby generator from Wheatland Electric Cooperative. With low monthly payments and special financing for co-op members, reliable backup power is more affordable than you think. We'll help you survey, install, and finance a Generac standby generator, all with professional installation you can trust. Protect your home, your comfort, and your peace of mind before the next storm hits. Get a free quote today and make life without power a thing of the past. Visit us online or call us to get started today.
Referees and game officials are a vital part of high school athletics. These men and women take time out of their lives to ensure a safe and fair environment for student athletes. As you attend sporting events this year, keep in mind the hard work and dedication of the officials. Respecting officials and authority figures is one of the most valuable lessons that we can teach our students. The Kansas State High School Activities Association and the Student Advisory Team would like to thank all those who take the time to officiate our competitions.
Moving right along on the show, it is time to talk some basketball and a lot of other things, maybe with Lawrence Sports, as we'll bring in Mac Moore. He is with Lawrence Sports. You can check out the website, lawrencesports.com. We had you on back in the fall, Mac. Appreciate you coming back on. Like, again, the explanation of like your site, lawrencesports.com, pretty self-explanatory, but tell us what you've been up to and what you guys provide.
Oh, yeah. Just, as I talked about back in the fall, building this site that has print, it has photos, it has video covering, we started with Lawrence High and Free State High School. And then as we got into the winter months, we expanded out a little bit and have now started covering, all the sports at Baldwin High School, Eudora High School, and Perry Lecompton High School. So we're, plan was always to kind of expand out across all of Douglas County. And then I forgot also Bishop Seabury in the mix there with the Lawrence ones as well. Just everything that we've been able to do so far is, it's supposed to be comprehensive. So we weren't sure, if we wanted to move past the first couple high schools at the beginning, but once we got into the winter months, a few less sports, but still very busy, and we wanted to give it a try. And it's been so fun so far to go out and cover all this and get that mix in. And you see the connections with a lot of these kids that know each other, play on AAU teams together and different stuff, club teams. And it's been really cool to kind of see that response from the parents, from the schools. And then it's great whenever the players and seeing those interactions from all these kids celebrating the accomplishments of the other kids, down the road. Has been really cool to see over the last couple months.
Yeah, really good content. LawrenceSports.com. All right, so you mentioned Eudora right there near Lawrence. So you've been able to cover those basketball teams and their sporting athletics. So like for the Eudora girls, I mean, you talk about a team that's has been impressive. Like, talk about them a little bit.
Yeah, Eudora girls. It's a team that has looked really good. And I think a lot of things that ends up happening when you're trying to talk about these teams. You end up looking at the losses, and it's tough because you want to talk about the wins, but honestly, like, that's how you end up kind of figuring it out, because you're going to lose a couple games. Like, there's not going to be too many undefeated squads, particularly in the 6A, 5A, 4A, and so then it ends up coming down to kind of the losses. And Eudora, really good schedule, a lot of really good teams that they've gone up against, and then the losses. It was a really tough one in late December. They looked so good to start the year, and then they go into the break with this 72-44 loss to Silver Lake out at the tournament in Rock Creek. And, so that one's a tough one. But then they bounce back, and they just do work on their Frontier League schedule, and they just reeling off all these wins. They end up the only other loss they've had this year, last week going into the Tonganoxie tournament. They knew it was going to be tough. Semifinal, you're on a collision course with St. James Academy, and that one ended up being a tough one. Ends up being a 56-47 loss, and then with the weather, they move up the final games, and so when they go into their third place matchup, they have to face Olathe East later that day, and end up getting a 69-48 win, and they just look good, and from there, they pick up a win against Lewisburg, and then they go into what was going to be the marquee matchup, another ranked team in Ottawa. And, that one was such a great game to watch. And you could just kind of see the difference in the way the teams are built. If you've seen Ottawa, that Leah Askins, Dieterich, she's so good. Like, she can take over a game, and, just the way it works. And she's always looking to get her teammates involved, but she knows exactly when to take over. And there would just be these moments where with Eudora, it's a lot, it's a lot more about the full team and the depth with just the group that they have. You start with the top ones of Bryn Dieterding, and then Jayla Coulter and Ava Dye. And those three are so good, and they work together really well. But that's not all they have. Then they trust the rest of the players around them. Whether that's Peyton Lewis as a freshman that can just knock down from long range, and then Izzy Brunkow is right there. Avery Warren. The list goes on and on of this rotation that works so well together. They're always in the right spot. They can feel each other. I mean, certain passes where Dieterding is gets a steal at half court, or maybe it was a rebound, and I just remember her spinning through the air and just tossing the ball behind her back to the player going on the fast break, and just they know what's going on. They're in tune, and that would get them these leads. And then, on the other side, Asker and Zederich would just be no, I'm going to fight and keep us in. And I mean, it was a 1-point game midway through the fourth. And then that's kind of where Eudora just kind of pieced together a few scores, made their free throws, and were able to end up pulling out the victory 62-54. And, a big statement win. And, any other time that type of win might move you up the rankings, but the top of 4A, a lot of consistent teams, and it's, nobody's had a really tough loss. Everybody's just looked really good right now. And, I'm excited to see how that one plays out. And then, looking on the other side of, 4A boys, it's kind of the same way. A lot of the same teams too, a lot of the same schools. And Eudora not being one of the ones like the girls team where they're at the top of the rankings, but there's so many good ones, and any good team, it's like, well, we don't want to see Eudora because man, they're feisty. They'll keep it going, and I saw that with them going up against Ottawa, a team undefeated last year. This year they've had a little bit more of a tough time, but enough of the pieces are there that you can see them putting it together late and being one of those tough squads to go up against in the 4A East. But man, that game was one. It went down to the wire. Looked like Ottawa was gonna get a victory there late. Just they drew a foul to get to the line with like 2 seconds left, and it ends up being they knocked down both of them. And so you're down to very little time, and Eudora comes out and they had a play. They had a plan that kind of changed a little bit. Ryan Osborne was supposed to be the one who got the ball on the inbound and then quickly kicked it out to one of their scorers. But he remembers from a little while back that they already had a game winner buzzer beater from Cy Thomas. And he knew he threw the ball in on the inbound to Thomas, got him going, and it worked perfectly. And he was like, I know coach wants me to be the one who, but I'm taking the inbound. He quickly got it after the free throw, gives it to Thomas, who gets to half court, and he throws that thing up, nails it. And everybody lost their minds in that gym. It was, and this is, one of the rare games where they do the boys game first. So that might have had an impact on how amped up the girls' game ended up being, because that was, the opening act, and he nails it. The fans go crazy, and I think in them talking with them, like normally it's like, man, I wouldn't have expected it, and they're like, no, we knew he'd make it. He just made his last 2 3-pointers, and like we had no doubt. We give it to Cy, and he ends up knocking it down again. Just that level, and in that moment, it was so high pressure down the stretch, and obviously Ottawa had that 2-point lead, so they were doing what they needed to do to win the game. But Cy just wouldn't let it go. He wouldn't stop until his team walked away with the victory. So that was a Friday night, was just a great night to be out at Eudora and to be watching some basketball. And it's kind of the tale of two different teams that can be contenders in the postseason. For the Eudora boys, it doesn't matter what their record are. There are going to be some teams that might be on paper more talented, but they don't quit, and they're going to make it difficult for whoever they go up against in the postseason. And then on the girls' side, it's just a really talented squad. They're loaded. They're as good as you can imagine. I keep forgetting things. For the girls' game, Brandon Parker, the coach, got his 100th win when they got that victory. So it was a big night for them. And they were celebrating that 2002 run to state runner-up, and that being this like great year. And it's like, if you're looking at the roster and how good it is, like, this kind of looks like that year. It kind of looks like that's how much talent they have. I mean, might not quite be there, and they're young also. So, next year, who knows what this team will end up doing as they keep building. But I think they're already one that is like, keep an eye on. It's so tough. There's so many good teams in 4A, and then you add in, it's like, who knows who has to go up against a Bishop Miege, where the record is going to bring them down the ranking a little bit. And it's like, that's not a team I want to face early on, so
right.
Those types of situations happen, but this is a team that's built, depending on how the brackets, end up looking, they could end up picking up some wins and making a deep run this year with just this group that, as I said, they're in tune, and it's that many good players. If one of them's having an off night, the next one will step up. So and that's exactly what you need to make a deep postseason run, is knowing we're not just relying on one person. We got a whole group and we trust all of them. So this Eudora team, very fun to watch. I'm excited to see what they can do, down the stretch here.
Some heavy hitters there on 4A East, both for the girls and boys. Hey, Mac, appreciate the time.
Thank you for having me.
That is Mac Moore, LawrenceSports.com. You can check out all the Douglas County coverage by going to the website. SPX Specialized Video Wall Solutions. Your gym needs SPX. Welcome back on the show. It is time to bring in our next guest here for Kansas Sports Chatter, and that is Brandi Fowler, head coach of the Liberal High School girls basketball team. Coach, appreciate you coming on this show. For you, this time of the year, like, what's it mean? Like, when you're getting into that final month of the regular season, what's the mentality like?
You've kind of gotten your team figured out. They've gotten each other figured out. And now it's just time for that final stretch. It's the second half of the season. A lot of league games are coming up. So you typically know those teams really well, a lot better than the rest of the season teams that you've played. It's starting to become more real, I think, especially for the seniors that are on the team, this is the last time we're going to do this. So just really trying to make it special for all of the kids, but especially for those seniors.
You mentioned figuring out your team, and you always want to see the growth from the start of the season to the end of the season. But what was your thought process before the season started as far as what you thought you had coming back this year?
Well, lucky for us that we were pretty young as far as playing time went last season. So we had a good idea. We did lose 4 seniors. A couple of them were starters. Another one got some significant playing time. And then we had a 4th senior. So we pretty much knew what we had coming in as far as our upperclassmen went. But as far as the underclassmen, it's just kind of waiting to see how they fit into everything and seeing how they perform when it's high stakes varsity basketball.
What did you see from some of those youngsters? Like, how long does it usually take for some of those youngsters to kind of at least get a feel for things and feel settled in?
It just depends on the kid, of course, and the position, I think, has a lot to do with it too. You definitely ask different girls to do different things based on the position. We have a pretty young post right now in Malia Mullins. So just, convincing her about her strength and, the things that she has to do in order to bang with the big girls down there. So that was her. And then we have a couple juniors that are guards that we really needed to step up. So seeing how they handle the pressure and, seeing are they going to be more drive? Are they going to be able to drive and get the ball downhill? Are they going to be able to catch and shoot where we need them to? So really it was position specific for us.
You talk about developing a post player, and I'm not saying every team still has them, they're still used, but I think you're seeing like styles of play maybe go away from some of the the taller post players. But like for you, like what's key in developing a good post player?
Well, there's a lot. I think making sure that you catch the ball first and foremost. You got to catch the ball. You got to have really good footwork. I think that although, everyone's moving to more positionless basketball, I think there's still a place for post girls that play down low, that really get after the boards, that can really post up, gives you a good advantage. So definitely post moves, definitely making sure that she catches everything, or all the girls down there that catch everything, and making sure that they're a good passer out of that position. I think that's definitely underestimated as far as what a post can do.
How important is the prep work before you even get the ball? I always talk about positioning and making sure you're in that right spot and hurrying down the court. How big is that for post players?
I think it's huge. I think it matters if you're going to get the ball or not. And then not just looking open, because I think sometimes we look open, but we don't really have a good seal on our man. And so I kind of tricks some of our guards sometimes into thinking that she's open when, maybe she doesn't have a good enough seal to keep that defender back. So there's definitely a lot of prep work that goes into before you even get the ball at the post.
For your guards, getting that entry pass in, like how much is that ingrained in their head? Okay, I need to make sure I'm looking inside. Like your style of offense, how big is that?
We really preach inside out basketball. We really try to get it inside just about, if not every time down the floor. But it changes from year to year. It just depends on your personnel. In our opinion, we think your personnel really matters. So this year just happens to be a year that we really do look to go inside, where other years, we might have more pure shooters on the outside where that's not necessarily something that has to happen. So we just take it year by year and look at the personnel that we have. We're blessed here in Liberal, Kansas. Girls basketball is pretty popular and it's very supported by our community. So we knock on wood. We have a new batch of girls that come up. It seems like every season that we just need to develop and just kind of fit them into our system, or we adjust the system around them. Just depends.
Brandi Fowler, head coach of the Liberal High girls basketball team, joining us here on the show. You mentioned that popularity and just the excitement. How fun was it for you when you took over as head coach 6 years ago, just kind of building on the success of Liberal basketball?
I don't know if fun is the word. Taking over for a back-to-back undefeated team, I don't know that I would use the word fun. A lot of pressure is what
expectations are high, huh?
Yes, definitely. But, the reason you get into this is because you love the girls. You have a passion for the sport, but I think more than just having a passion for the sport, it's just the love of the girls. And, we knew that we had a good thing going here, and I was an assistant for a long time. Didn't think that I was ready. Still don't know if I am ready, but it's just been a really fun ride. And every year, just getting to make those connections with the girls is just something special that we truly, truly appreciate.
How was it easier, like you mentioned, like being an assistant for a number of years before taking over the head coaching position? Like, did that make that transition easier? Just like, you had a very good view and a very good feel for the program?
Well, I don't know, because that was the first time I ever transitioned from assistant to head varsity coach anyway. I was head coach at different levels, but I think it's just different at the high school level, especially when you're coming from the coach that I was so blessed to coach under was Carter Kruger, and he had such great experience coming into the position. And I thought I knew a lot of things. And then I just learned so much from him. And I'm like, how much do I keep leaning on him? How much do I kind of try to make it our own? So it was just a balance, but I do not think it was an easy transition at all.
What was Carter like, just in practices? I got to know him a little bit when he was at Barton Community College, but what was his style like? And it always just kind of seemed like he was always tinkering with things, trying to find something new.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what was his style like?
Yeah, I don't know that he ever stops thinking about basketball. If you have a napkin and a pen, he's drawing up a set or a defensive look or something, it's always about trying different things. He is super intense. He has really high expectations. He has high expectations for, I think, everyone around him and everything that he does in life, but especially the girls, especially his assistant coaches. I can't thank the guy enough for all of the things that I learned from him. He's a special friend of mine still today. Unfortunately, him and Jenny moved far away from us. I think they're in El Dorado now, but he's a special guy, super intense, and basketball IQ out the door. I mean, he's awesome.
Good guys. You talk about special season for you. It's been fun watching the success that you guys have had already so far in the season. Now getting, like you said, kind of into the thick of things. Like, what has made this team so special? Like, what has stood out to you through the first, over half of the season so far?
I think it's just their ability to come together. We have had some adversity of course on the floor, but also off the floor. We've struggled with certain things that we needed to overcome, but it feels like these girls, it doesn't matter what gets in their way. They're always going to find a way to find each other, to make sure that they're supporting each other. The growth in this team and the amount of improvement that we've seen all season long is second to none. And they're just a really fun group to be around. They make us laugh every day. Yeah. We had a fun team dinner last night, and just the memories that they remember and the way they remember stories is just really fun to be around. They're great kids off the floor. They're top of their classes. You don't have to worry about them, getting in trouble or anything like that. And they love to get in the gym. They love to get shots up. They love to get in the gym, and they love to be around each other. So all good attributes of a good team.
I'll say, I mean, you look at the season, I'm only a couple blemishes, but what did you take from maybe that Hayes game? And I know the Oklahoma school. So what did you kind of take from those two games?
We just, the Hayes is a really good team. Hayes is a really good team. And we had just come from 3 games in Salina that we played really hard. We didn't feel like as a coaching staff that we had played our best basketball yet, even though we came out with dubs in those games. It felt like we were still missing some things, and Hayes really exposed the things that we needed to work on before we had a chance to really get after it and work on them. So it was just a lot of learning. That's what, we tell the girls all the time. I think it's cliche. Everybody says it, you win or you learn. And, we were fortunate that we got to learn some lessons and still got some wins. But then, like I said, Hayes just really exposed us with all their talent and the things that we weren't doing well. They totally capitalized on. So we learned a lot from that. The Oklahoma game, that game is one that, man, we wish we had back. We really wish we had that one back, because I don't think it should have ended the way it did. But is what it is, and we only control what we can. So we're going to move forward.
What were some of those lessons that you learned, and some of the things that you wanted to clean up after those games?
Handling pressure is definitely something that we needed to do a lot better. Strength with the ball. Hayes has really good inside game. Their girls are strong. The girls in Woodward, Oklahoma, they're real strong too, so just making sure that we value each possession, taking care of the ball, making sure that we're really great screeners on the offensive end and taking advantage of what we want to see offensively. And then we are huge about defense, and we were allowing girls to get downhill. We were allowing them to get to the basket. We weren't getting out to shooters sometimes. So those were all things that were really important to us. And then one thing that will drive us crazy, especially myself, is if we don't win the rebounds, and we weren't winning the rebounds in a lot of those games. So that's something that we really take pride in. That's one of those gut check things. Sure. I think that's just rebounding, and just that ball is a loose ball. If it's not in somebody's hand, it is a loose ball. So you go out and get it like we own it. So that's something that we've definitely gotten better at. We haven't played in it feels like a month, actually. So we're excited to finally get back on the floor.
Last question for you, Coach. I mean, I think every high school gym, or at least there's so many unique gyms throughout the entire state, and certain things that make it special. But the Big House is always kind of one of those for me, in the WAC. Like what's so special about the Big House, and how much fun is it just coaching there and playing there?
It's literally a big house. It's huge. There is so much seating for crowds. When we get a big crowd, it is just electric. And, it's not one of those gyms that's loud because of the acoustics or anything like that, or because of the way it's set up. Hayes has a brand new gym, and it's beautiful, but it feels like they are on top of you. They're really steep. The Big House is not like that. Everybody's spread out. If it's loud in there, it's because it is huge, and there are so many people that can fit in there. And the community of Liberal loves their kids. I know everyone says that everywhere, but they just truly love their kids. They come out. They don't care if it was, their personal kids or kids that they knew down the block from, however long ago. They're there to support them, and they come out whether they have a dog in the fight or not. They're here to cheer on Liberal pride, and it's really big in this town, and it's really fun to be a part of.
Any game that stands out that it might have been the loudest in the big house? Like any games that stand out to you?
Any of our sub-state championship games. I remember when I was an assistant coach and we finally made it to state in the sub-state championship against I think it was Bishop Carroll. I don't remember. But it was so loud in there. We could hardly hear each other in the timeouts. It was so great. But we've had a lot of great crowds. The last 2 or 3 years, we've hosted the sub-state championships and fell short, unfortunately. But the crowds are just amazing, especially when it comes to that part of the season. And this year, our rowdy crowd and the rest of our fans have been way better than we've seen in the regular season the last few years. So that's been really fun.
Love that place. Hey, Coach, appreciate the time and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on. Appreciate your time.
You bet. That's Brandi Fowler, head coach of the Liberal girls basketball team. We'll have more of the show after this break. Are you looking for a new way to promote your business or organization? Do you want to get your message out to a statewide audience that loves high school sports in both urban and rural areas? Kansas Sports Chatter has advertising opportunities from commercials, sponsoring specific guests, product placements, and even a premier sponsorship. Let Kansas Sports Chatter promote your brand. Contact ksportschatter@gmail.com for more advertising details. That's ksportschatter@gmail.com. Come join the chatter. It's time for our next level talent segment, an opportunity to talk to former high school athletes from the state of Kansas that are now competing at a college or university. And today's guest is going to be Anna McIntire, a member of the Hesston College women's basketball team and out of Lawrence Free State High School. Hey, Anna, appreciate you coming on the show. Like this time of the year, like what's the wear and tear like on your body of a basketball season?
Oh, yeah. Everyone on the team is working through injuries and soreness. And, we have played a lot of games this season, so it's a struggle, but we're getting through it.
You talk about, people think, okay, hey, you're a basketball player. Okay, you focus on basketball, but how important is that? Just like the sports medicine and just the, making sure you're staying up with injuries and keeping up with that type of, I guess, recovery like?
I think it's important to know, the ins and outs of your own body, and eating well is a really big part of it. It's something I struggle with because when you get busy, it's hard to eat, and stretching and rolling out is so important too. You just have to keep working at getting your body where it needs to be to perform.
Lawrence Free State High School, your high school days, what stood out about competing for Lawrence Free State?
Oh gosh. I mean, that was almost 5 years ago now at this point. And when I was in high school, basketball wasn't my main focus as it is now. And it was really cool getting to do something that I hadn't really focused that much on in my youth, but I really enjoyed competing with girls that were better than me and learning from them.
So you mentioned not your main focus early on. Like, what was the main focus, as you were growing up?
I think soccer was my main sport. That was something that I thought I wanted to do going forward. And then early in my high school career, I kind of switched to more softball and then eventually basketball.
What made you to eventually kind of land on basketball and focus maybe more solely on that? What kind of switch for you?
I really enjoyed that it's fast paced and that you're always running. And it was just more fun to me than softball, which was a little, slower and you stand. And I am in the Kansas Army National Guard, so the keeping in shape was also really appealing to me.
What got you interested in the National Guard?
Initially it was to pay for school, along with the athletic part of it. But as I went through it, I'm really enjoying being in the Guard and my job that I've chosen to do.
What's it like balancing that type of schedule with, your responsibilities with the National Guard and then, obviously, going to school and competing as an athlete?
Mm-hmm. It is a little tough. I have had to miss a few games and I did, and I watched my team on the live stream and that kind of sucked not being there with them, but it's something that I've chosen to do and it is my obligation to allow me to continue to play college, and my coach knows that. So
your recruitment at Hesston College, what was that process like and what eventually made you land on Hesston?
I initially was trying to get recruited for softball, and then, I kind of switched gears to basketball, and I was recruited by the previous coach, Coach Smalley, to play the 2022-23 season.
Okay.
But I ended up having to deploy with the Kansas Army National Guard. So I had to delay that another year. So I had 2 gap years in between high school and college. And yeah, he was really supportive. And then towards the beginning of the 2023 season, I got a message from him that saying he got a better opportunity and that we would have to look for a new coach, which was also another transition, but
sure,
it ended up being the right choice for me because Hesston I really enjoy being here. The school is small, the classes are small. The campus is small, but it's gorgeous, especially in the fall. And I just really liked being here.
Settling into a new team, and especially when you get, like top athletes that come together, and then you're supposed to have all this great team chemistry. Like, how does that develop? And what was it like, especially like your freshman year, just trying to, figure out your role?
My freshman year was a little odd because it was a brand new coach, and none of the girls had been recruited by Coach Finney. And so it was kind of learning how to deal with the new coach. As the sophomores had a different coach, and obviously a bunch of new freshmen coming in that also, weren't familiar to college and all that. It was kind of a struggle, and we did have our issues, but I think that we worked through it good enough to have a fairly successful season.
Yeah.
And yeah.
You were able to start right away as a freshman at Hesston. Like, what was that experience like for you? Did you expect to be a starter right away?
I did not expect to be a starter. In high school, I wasn't a leading scorer. I was more of a role player. And I still take on that role player role pretty well, I think, because I was never as confident, I think, as I should have been. But when I started, it really did raise my confidence a good amount because I didn't expect to. And in high school, I wasn't like the high scoring player.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was trying to learn we had a girl 2 years ago, her name was Narika. And she was really good. She was from Japan. And I was just trying to learn from her and learn from the new coach and just take it all in stride.
What helped you kind of build that confidence out on the basketball court? Was there a certain moment or a time where it kind of flipped the switch a little bit to where you're like, okay, yeah, I do feel confident out here?
I can't remember of like a specific moment, but just understanding that my coach and my teammates had confidence in me, and that when I played confident and without overthinking, that I played a lot better, and just understanding that is something that I'm still growing at.
You go back to, your time at Lawrence Free State. Anyone that stood out to you while you were there that kind of helped you out, whether it was a coach or, some other administrator that kind of helped you get to where you're at now?
Coach Summer Franz, she's the head coach now. She was an assistant coach when I was there. And I think that she was a really good assistant coach and that she is bringing success to Free State now. And I really remember her just being kind and teaching me stuff when sometimes one of the head coaches didn't have time or wasn't, completely there. And I really appreciate her for that. As well as Shannon Clark, I played with her. She was really good, and I looked up to her, her confidence and just the way she played. And I wish to play like that.
Very good. Anna, appreciate your time, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
That is Anna McIntire, member of the Hesston College women's basketball team and at Lawrence Free State High School for our next level talents. Are you a person that's always on the go? You can still easily keep up with Kansas Sports Chatter with the audio podcast. Hear each episode on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to follow the Kansas Sports Chatter podcast. You know, going back to the beginning of the show when we asked Brett LaDuke of Blue Valley West and Ty Scheck of Dodge City about their superstitions, like the one superstition that I still have as an adult and I still do, it goes to like watching sporting events. So like, especially when like I'm watching my favorite team, whether I'm watching a Chiefs game, a Royals game, or like a college basketball team that I'm following, and like it's getting intense and it's a good game. And like I have to sit in a certain position, and it changes each time. There's not like the same position, but it's like whatever I feel confident in at the time, like makes me feel confident that they're going to do well while I'm sitting. So like if you're on YouTube, you'll be able to check this out. Sometimes it's just a simple one of these. Sometimes it's one of these. Like I feel good. Okay, hey, if I do this and I rub my head, like they're going to do well. Sometimes it's kind of the leaned in approach and bent over. Then other times, like I'm hugging a pillow. Like whatever it may be. Sometimes I'm laying back down. Like sometimes it doesn't matter. Like that's like the superstition. Like I have to have like a confident position when I'm sitting and watching the game and feel good. Because if I feel like awkward or like something itches or something like that, like they're not going to do well. So that is my superstition. What is your silly superstition? You can hit us up on a social media. Also, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube. Episodes coming out every Tuesday and Thursday here for Kansas Sports Chatter. We'll close things out with a radio highlights from the voice of the Clay Center Tigers, Rocky Downing. Enjoy the sounds.
Stratton out top. Cramner for three in the lead. Boom! Will Cramner, the sophomore, with ice in his veins, knocks down the triple. 20 seconds left, and Wamega will take a timeout. Will Cramner from distance, and the Tigers have the 15th lead change of this game.